Hi there, it's me again, Sue Johnston. I have been making these videos regarding the value of creativity in your life, and when you think about it, there's all kinds of life experiences where we can be creative. Maybe we just hadn't really thought about ourselves being creative when we were solving a problem or setting up a tent for camping or building a plan for a summer vacation, whatever. There's a lot of creativity in life. I am going to share our senior camping video and pictures in this video, and then I'm going to do a series on grieving. My Maine Coon cat, Bailey, had to be put to sleep. She became ill very quickly. Within 2 weeks, took her to the vet, and they set a date for her to be put to sleep, and I couldn't do it. I brought her home. I cried so much that day. I think it was the initial shock of it. And then as she very quickly deteriorated in the next 2 days, then I said my goodbyes. So I'm going to share that and share my notes on grieving. So that will be the next video theme, maybe a few videos on that. What we did do, we had camping set up 4 days in Jordan Valley Campground with my oldest daughter and my youngest granddaughter. And that was part of my healing. It was, grieving is a process, and one of the things you need to do is bring distraction into your life. And so camping was the distraction. I still cried, maybe not as much, but I still cried while we were camping. It happens. A word is spoken, something is said, and then you remember, and then it's this hair trigger that sets you off, and next thing you know, the tears are flowing. I'm actually doing better today. This is 17, 18 days after her passing. So I'll share more about that later. In the meantime, I'm going to share the distraction, the creativity involved in our camping trip. We have a Napier tent which gets attached to the back of our CRV when the trunk lid is open, and I sleep inside the CRV, and my husband likes to sleep in the 10 by 10 area of the tent. Now, it has been said that you can set up this tent in 10 minutes, and I have done that. I have set it up in 10 minutes, and it's worked great. But at the end of this particular snippet of video, you're going to see that I ran into a little problem. As I unfold the tent, I'm of course looking for the four corners of the tent, but I'm also looking for the portion that's going to go up over the hood of the CRV on the back. So I need to get it into the right position. So initially, that's what I'm looking for. Just getting the tent set up properly so that the door opens in the right place, and most important, this tent part can go over the end of the CRV. Okay, so I now have it in the correct position, and the whitish looking part that you see on the ground there is actually the sleeve that goes up over the tent, or sorry, the back of the CRV. Now I'm opening the rods, and surprise, surprise, the stretchy cord inside the rods has broken. I did end up fixing it. I had to stretch the little stretchy cord that's inside the rods and keep stretching it and rethread it through the rods. Then we tied a knot, a double knot, and that went inside the rods, and we hoped that it would hold, and sure enough it did. Apparently, I talked to my daughter about this, and she's had the same problem years ago when she had a tent of similar nature, where you thread the rods in through the sleeves on top of the tent.
I think you might need some help at this point. Don't you think?
All right. That's so cute. As you can see, we did manage to get the whole thing set up. And I'm going to show you a couple pictures from last year's setup. It looks the same, just different campsite. It's very convenient, especially for sleeping and access to the tent and the vehicle. We had really big campsites. I think they were 20 feet, and they were set under these weeping willow trees, huge weeping willows. Every morning we had sunshine, and in the evening we had just enough shade over our vehicle and tent to keep things cool enough for us. My daughter's and my granddaughter's site was a couple sites over. We couldn't get them side by side because somebody else had booked in between us. She brought her pop-up camper, and I think this was her second or third time using it. So it was a lot of fun to get it all set up, and we visited back and forth between sites. So the first couple of days I did all the meals, and then the other 2 days she did meals. I think I did all the breakfasts though. Here's the view from inside the CRV, which is the area that I sleep in. I sleep here because I like to be off the ground. My husband sleeps in the 10 by 10 part of the tent because he enjoys that. He feels like sleeping in the vehicle is a little bit too enclosed for him. I have a small jackery that I use. We use it to charge up our iPad, iPhones, but I also use it to power a small fan to keep the air circulating inside the CRV part. We each have a trifold foam mattress that we use to sleep on. I always set up a small table to hold whatever we need. There's my husband's trifold mattress on the ground there. This time I used an indoor-outdoor carpet as well and put that on the floor of the tent. A little pot in the corner. We use a little bucket to use for the washroom in the night in case we need it. We're seniors. We always have to get up in the night. Here's my more messy view where we've been living in this setting for a few days. These are that's the door, and it's closed right now. Like you can open it for the screen. Previous video I had them all open to air it out during the day. That's my husband's area, his sleeping arrangement. It's really quite cozy. We run electric into the tent and we use it to power up a heater if we need that. Sometimes it gets a bit cool in the evenings. And what I do with the sleeve up around the car part is I secure it with masking tape. See that green masking tape there? Just so that no bugs come in. There is an elastic sleeve on the other part, but I like to make sure all the little nooks and crannies are closed off. Here's an overview, an exterior view of our campsite.
True.
Mom smiles and makes my face light up.
There are several trails available in the area, and of course, it's wine country, so you can actually take your vehicle out if you want and go for a tour in wine country. If you had a setup like ours with this tent attached to the CRV, what you would do is just simply take the sleeve off the back of the vehicle, close up your vehicle, and then the rest of the side zips up with a screen and a cover like a normal tent. So it can be used as a separate standalone tent if you wish to. Usually when we go camping, we just set up, and anywhere we go, we tend to walk the trails. There are a few other options like glamping available at the Jordan Valley campground as well. So you try to bring along as many comforts as you can and yet make things very succinct and have fun with creative ways of cooking. Personally, I enjoyed the early morning with the sunshine and watching all the birds. There was a lot of swallows, and they tend to fly very low to the ground. If you look carefully, you'll be able to see them go by, and there they go. They're very fast. And they also come out at night. I think they're scooping around to catch up some of the bugs. We followed one of the trails that took us into town, and we visited the Cave winery. So we had some wine tasting, and then we sat out in their little patio and enjoyed a glass of wine. And then, of course, we bought a bottle and took it back to our campsite. In town, there's a museum that you can visit that highlights all of the pioneer people that came and settled in the town. My ancestors likely came through this area as they worked their way through Niagara Falls over to Grimsby and settled there. This was way back in 1790. The pioneering spirit, it lives on. I love the cooking, the outdoors, the fresh air, how healthy it makes you feel, and of course, for some of us, it's just about relaxing. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video of our senior camping. I think most of it was really about the tent, and we do like to make it comfortable for ourselves, so maybe you get a few ideas from that. In my next video, probably next few videos, I'm going to be talking about grieving, how it's a process, and how to get through it. See you next time.